is awesome.
That was awesome.
You guys are awesome.
No, you're awesome.
You are awesome.
Sir, you are awesome. Seriously.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Oh baby, it feels so good to say this, but welcome to this week's edition of Everything is Awesome! Yeah, that's right, yeah! Sorry, I'm playing with a new toy. I am your host, Kev, and this is the show where we talk to awesome people about awesome things. Oh man, it's been a while. It has been a while. Almost 3 years, believe it or not. I want to say September 2020 was about the last episode we posted on the Everything is Awesome feed. And of course, just recently on July 1st, the 16th anniversary of me podcasting. I started podcasting July 1st, 2007. So it's been 16 years of a roller coaster podcasting, quote unquote, career. Ups and downs, times recording, times not recording, mental health breaks a lot in the most recent, 6 to 7 years since I started Everything is Awesome, that's Everything is Awesome hit its 7-year anniversary this year. We obviously didn't celebrate that, but we're back, baby. I'm really excited to get back into podcasting. I've been writing on and off for a few years now for various websites, not necessarily for my own personal projects, but and I love writing. I really do. I love the idea of writing. I still enjoy it. I need to get back to it, but I love all of that. But the true passion is in podcasting and talking to new people and finding out about them and what they love to do. And in the case of walking with writers, learning about their writing journeys. So I'm really excited to usher in this, next era of podcasting for me. Hopefully where we don't take a mental health break, but I think that's okay to do. And for me, it took about 3 years to be in a place where I'm ready to sit down and record podcasting again. And a big part of that was Fan Expo Philadelphia 2023, which is what you're going to be hearing over the next few weeks here. Today's episode, we got to partake on the creators stage for Fan Expo Philadelphia this year. And what an amazing experience to sit on a stage meant for podcasting. Normally at Fan Expo, I am doing panels and hosting that kind of stuff or asking questions or whatever the case may be. So to be able to do a podcast proper, to do Everything is Awesome, not Dark Knights of the Round Table, but Everything is Awesome proper on a stage meant for podcasting was really, really awesome. And we had such a good time. I think I'll probably tweak what we do next time a little bit, but we had such a wonderful time doing not the late night version of this show, but our convention, our Comic-Con version of this show. And I think that needs to be tweaked a little bit, but we'll figure that out in time. And got some awesome invites to partake in some other Fan Expo events that are in the United States. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it because I have pre-planned vacations that are happening during those events, but really awesome that we were that well received to be invited back for Boston and Chicago, very specifically, and kind of an open invite for other cities if we're able to make it out that way. So I'm really excited for the future of that part of my creative career. And we sat down on the creator stage. I had Mike D'Angelo with me, who is my live show co-host. He's always with me for almost all my live shows that we do at festivals and stuff. And our guest was a very good friend of me and the show, Garrett Smith, who I love dearly as well. And just had a nice conversation about all the guests that were at Comic-Con this year and our favorite projects they've ever done. You'll get to hear it just coming up now. We're gonna learn how to podcast again, learn how we start the show and how we transition to the next part of the show and how we end the show and we conclude the show. So it's gonna be a fun time. What you can expect from Everything is Awesome going forward is a little complicated, but for now, every other week we're going to be trying to post new shows. A lot of those are going to be Fan Expo related. At least 3 of them, including today's episode, are going to be Fan Expo related. And I may do a 4th one talking with some people that ran a table with me just to get that kind of audio down. And then we have at least 1 new interview already recorded, and I'll be working hard to get some more interviews recorded. But while we're doing that, I also have a bunch of episodes that we never aired from like 2018, 2019, somewhere in that range. So those episodes are going to go up on our off weeks for now. Now, speaking of our off weeks, and I mentioned Walking with Writers, somewhere around September, we're going to pick up with Walking with Writers as well. So starting now, every other week on Mondays, you're going to hear a new episode of Everything is Awesome. I think we'll do that until probably like May-ish or June-ish, and then we're going to take the summer off. We're going to start prioritizing our mental health here on Everything is Awesome. That's the plan I'm thinking of right now, though we are going to have special summer sessions that are a few episodes long. Same thing with Walking with Writers. Walking with Writers will air on the off weeks for Everything is Awesome, meaning if we were launching Walking with Writers in July, next Wednesday, the 12th, would be our Walking with Writers episode that would drop. That should pick up in September. I'm not sure of the date because I don't have a calendar in front of me, but that should pick up in September when hopefully we're caught up on our old episodes of Everything is Awesome on those off weeks, and Walking with Writers will pick up from there. And same thing, that will run. Traditionally, the podcast will likely run from like September to May or June, taking July and August off for summer vacation. We may also take an extended break during the Christmas holiday season because one of the things I realized while doing this is that like I was trying to do too much as a creative person and as a family person. So being able to kind of like prioritize mental health, prioritize family time, while also being creative is very important with me going forward. My first, probably 5 to 6 years of podcasting, I wanted to make it a career. I wanted to find a way to make money. And then when I came back doing Everything is Awesome, and I figured out that I want to do this to like enjoy sitting down and speaking with people and learning new things and just enjoying the process of creating art, is when I realized that like this is my best podcasting, and I'm not worried about numbers. My numbers are important, absolutely, but I'm not worried about the numbers, and I want to have fun doing what I'm creating. And then I learned with this last mental health break that like I also need to make sure I'm taking care of myself and mentally, and also taking care of myself with like time with my friends and family. And that's what I'm hoping that going forward, with learning all that in the last 16 years of podcasting, that we can move forward and not actually take a big mental health break or anything. So with that said, let's get to our episode from Fan Expo Philadelphia. This was recorded, I believe, on Sunday, June 4th, on the Creator Stage at Fan Expo Philadelphia at the PA Convention Center. Thank you for all listening. We'll be back on the other end to wrap things up. Hello, Fan Expo Philadelphia. Woo. How you guys doing? All right. That was good. A lot of times when I do that like cheap pop, no one does anything. So
one dude's definitely sleeping with his eyes open right now.
This is Everything is Awesome. I am your host, Kev, and this is the show where when we're live, we're normally doing a lot of dancing like monkeys for you, but the stage is a little tight, so we're going to change the form up a little bit more here. But
point of order, I've never seen Kevin dance.
You did stomp on a mouse at Tattooed Mom, though.
Oh, I did, yes. I forgot about that.
We are an interview show, and I have 2 guests with me today. To my right is Garrett Smith.
Hello.
He is a podcaster, the Killer Bees podcast.
Yeah, check out my podcast, Killer Bees. Me and my partner talk about B-movie actors. We've talked about people like Pam Grier. Who else? Oh, Peter Weller, who's here. We've talked about him. So check out my podcast. And I'm on MovieJawn.com. That's Philadelphia John, Jawn. We review movies. It's a good place. Check it out.
How many people here are from the Philly area? Okay, so about half of you know John. All right. And to my far right is my live show co-host, my best friend, Mike D'Angelo. Mike, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on tellus.com. That's TELLEST.com. And you can find all the stuff that we work on at tellus.com/brochure. I'm just a creative writer. I write my own little fantasy shared universe.
And I'm here today representing the Philadelphia Podcasting Society and Creative Arts Alliance, right behind you. And it's been such a great weekend. It's been nice seeing like all these different cosplayers walking right by our booth. It's like the best spot for a booth, I think, to see all the great podcasters that've been here. The one right before us, the best little horror house in Philly. That's a long name. I nailed it. They were great. Yesterday we had the Father Son Galaxy podcast here. They were great. They also interviewed a couple artists later in the day. That was awesome. And just a bunch of great shows. Comic Book Gurus were here earlier. So a bunch of great shows. Thanks to Fan Expo for like putting this together. I think it's great.
Yep.
What I love about Fan Expo, like I said, is all the cosplays. But you know what's the one cosplay you never see in Philadelphia? Santa Claus.
Any reasons why that you can think of, Kev?
Well, if we're from Philly, and even if you're not, we're best known for throwing batteries at Santa Claus.
That's absolutely right.
And it's
only skinny Santa Claus, though.
Only skinny. That's it. All right. So because we have a lot of celebrities here today, we're going to talk about them and talk about some of our favorite projects that they've done. And there's a lot. And there's also a lot that, like, maybe I only know them for one thing, and we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
And we're going literally down the website, so thank you yet again, Fan Expo, for making my job easier. Michael J. Fox. Now, do we make it challenging and say not Back to the Future? We can't pick that?
We don't go to the thing that it shows on the website.
Yeah.
But what is your favorite Michael J. Fox that's not Back to the Future then?
My favorite thing that's not Back to the Future for Michael J. Fox would be Teen Wolf, hands down.
Yeah.
We mentioned this in our Back to the Future panel. The scene of him just riding on the van, the roof of the van as a wolf, is amazing. I love it.
Yeah. I guess that's the one, right? I'm trying to think. What was the one where he's like, hold on.
Secret of My Success?
That's exactly the one I was trying to think of. Yes.
There we go.
Oh, man. I remember seeing that on like Comedy Central in the afternoon when I was a kid.
Well, that's where the famous bow, bow.
Yeah.
That's where all
That's
that
right,
comes from.
yeah.
So.
God, yeah. I think that's got to be the one because it's the only other movie I remember that he's in.
He was in Life with Mikey. Life with Mikey was
What
really
is that?
good, too.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
So Life with Mikey is like he's like a marketing exec or he's a promoter or a publicist or something like that, and they take on a new client who's from somewhere in the city that's of low repute.
Okay.
And then they make her a star, basically. So
Yeah. So makeover movie?
Yeah,
Starring
basically.
Michael J. Fox?
Yep.
All right. I'm into it.
He was in Doc Hollywood too, correct?
Doc Hollywood,
yeah.
yeah.
I was surprised that I thought that might have been the one you picked.
No, I don't know if I've seen Doc Hollywood.
I saw it as a child. So.
Yeah.
Doc Hollywood? No.
No.
Do you-
What's your favorite project?
I just told you.
Oh,
Secret
okay.
of My Success.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Okay. Now this one I think is going to be interesting because I only know him for the thing that he's on here for.
Right.
And that's everyone's favorite Joseph Quinn, who is here today. Thank God.
Oh, yeah. Eddie-
Otherwise, I think there would have been pitchforks and torches outside of the convention center.
That's Eddie Munson
That's
from
correct.
Stranger Things?
Yeah.
If I've learned anything from being at this convention hall for like 3 hours today, it's that middle-aged women love Eddie Munson. I have
Everybody,
seen him.
Not just middle-aged. Every person in here is
I have
wearing
seen him on the shirt of every middle-aged woman that has walked by me.
Yep.
By the way, I'm a middle-aged man.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't. We were talking earlier. We know that he's got like a bit part in Game of Thrones, but I mean,
Oh, really?
He's. I don't even know if it's a named character, but yeah, I mean, Eddie Munson put him on the
Yeah,
map
I know
and
him from Stranger Things, which is a great thing to know him from. Like,
Right.
Yeah, he's
like,
great in that.
He's probably my favorite season 4 character
Yeah, for
of
sure.
Stranger Things.
His delivery of "This is music" is
Yeah.
very funny and lives in my brain.
Yeah. Hayden Christensen, another big one this weekend.
Oh yeah, I love Hayden Christensen.
Do you?
Yeah, I genuinely do. Yes.
I think he's a fine actor. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like seek out his movies, but I've liked everything that I've seen of him in.
Right, and
What's
he's definitely picking up a lot more popularity these days, especially reprising his role as Anakin. And everything.
Have you guys? I'm assuming you're here. You've seen Obi-Wan. Excited for Ahsoka, but great. Like him getting his just dues to be Anakin / Darth Vader again was great to see him in that. I know you were behind on stuff. Are you caught up, Garrett?
You talking to me? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm caught up on Star Wars. I'm way caught up on Star Wars. Star
So-
Wars, I'm all up on, and I really love Hayden Christensen in the movies, and I loved that. I saw an interview with him recently where he said that he really felt like the cartoon series Clone Wars helped like his reputation and career as
Oh, wow.
Anakin.
Yeah, I could see that
And
definitely.
that his performance as Anakin in Obi-Wan is as indebted to the guy that played him on the cartoon
Yeah.
as it is to his own performance in the movies.
I could see that, yeah, because it enlightens people to the character a little bit more.
Yeah.
You only get adult Anakin before he's Vader for 240 minutes.
Right, right.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I think the Clone Wars TV show, it really kind of like showed the prequel movies in a new light. That like someone who grew up as like a teenager, early 20s when those movies came out, like I was like, ew. Like I was one of those guys that like didn't like them, and now I've turned around on them because.
Right.
Partially because of the cartoon, partially because I've matured
Yeah.
and realized that those movies are for children. But I love those, at least episodes 2 and 3. I love a whole lot, and a big part of that is because of Hayden Christensen. Though I think I'm going to go with Jumper. Is
Yeah.
my favorite.
You big Jumper fan? You're the one?
Yeah, I'm the one. I've seen it. I mean, it's not a movie I watch over and over again, but like I remember watching that movie and just loving it, loving the
Right.
idea, loving the concept.
Jumper really does like a good job of showing you a little bit more of his acting chops, because you are kind of beholden to what people have done before, what people have done after, but Jumper gave him the opportunity to make the role his own, that kind of thing.
Is he in Cider House Rules? Do I have that right? Can anybody confirm or deny that? No one in
Guys,
this crowd has seen
someone,
Cider
I don't
House
know if he's
Rules.
nodding in agreement or nodding because that's a really good ice cream cone.
I think he's in that movie, and he's really good in it. I think that's the one he's in that he's really good in.
You go into the IMDb.
Yeah.
You'll do that, and then you'll confirm your answer for him. The next one on my list, while you're looking that up, I'm just going to move along, is Sean Astin, and I think I know what you're going to go with.
What do you think I'm going with?
There's one of two answers.
Right, I'm going Goonies.
Okay,
Right,
that was
yeah.
my first choice.
Goonies, absolutely. 'Cause Goonies is like my Back to the Future. Like, yes, we liked Back to the Future, and we had that whole panel about it, but Goonies is like one of those movies that I would watch it every day. Growing up, just one day after another, I could watch it a billion times. And we talked about, some people don't even know about it. There's a Goonies game tie-in.
Yes, it was
Nobody's
called
aware of.
Goonies 2.
Wait, really?
Yeah, there's an NES game called Goonies 2.
Okay.
Where Annie
Wait.
is a mermaid.
Wait, with what?
Annie's a mermaid in the NES game. The whole concept
I don't
of the
remember
game,
that game.
You go through the game. You're trying to rescue the Goonies from multiple Fratellis. It's not 3 Fratellis. It's like the entire mafia, and there's all kinds of weird monsters and everything. It's a weird RPG hybrid game.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Having that made me love the movie even more too.
Before you
Go
answer
ahead.
your, my shameful thing is I didn't see Goonies until I was 21.
Wow.
And
Yeah, so you didn't like Goonies.
so I love Goonies. I think it's a great movie. I'm not obsessed with it like every other 80s and 90s
Right.
child because I didn't see it until I was 21 years old.
Well, so it's like in that trifecta of 80s movies. It's Goonies, Princess Bride, and there's one other that's escaping me right now, but it's like that trio. And I'll remember it at the end of this, and I'll be like, aha.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
how did you feel about Princess Bride? Does that hit the same way, or did you do the same thing?
I watched it probably even later than 21. But I actually I love that movie. I really truly do love that movie.
No, I had that experience with Princess Bride. I didn't
Yeah.
see it until I was too old, and I was like, nope,
The
this is
magic
not
is-
for me.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I just didn't do it.
Don't
Didn't do
walk
it for me.
away.
huge fan here.
By the way, it was not Cider House Rules. It was, of course, Life as a House, the other drama about houses.
I gotcha.
But that ice cream's really good. What, Garrett? What about Sean Astin?
Oh, Sean Astin. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to remember the name of this movie. There is a horror movie that he was in when it was like a couple years after the Goonies, and it's just like 3 short films for kids that are like horror tinged. They're terrible. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and he's so funny in it. He plays like an older brother who's telling scary stories to kids in like a tent.
Okay.
And then each of the things is like one of those scary stories.
So not a Rudy spinoff?
Not a Rudy spinoff. No. I need to find. Hold on. I got to find this. You guys are going to find out I only watch like B movies at home, so my barometer on this stuff is way different than theirs.
Yeah, the nice thing about having Garrett here is he watches all these wacky movies that, well, I consider wacky because they're B movies. I love a good B movie. In fact, a lot of my good movie taste comes from Garrett recommending this stuff.
Kev, did we skip over you for Sean Astin?
We did. I'm actually going to pick something that's a little bit more current and him in an adult role. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I'm not a big Lord of the Rings guy, and as we established, I'm not a big Goonies guy either.
Right.
But 50 First Dates, 51
Right.
First Dates,
Oh,
whatever it's
God.
called.
I forgot he's in that.
Yep.
And he's Jason Kelsey. He dressed as him on the pie, or going to the field one day. He dressed as that character from 50 First Dates.
Right.
It's amazing, and I really love like the absurdity that he brings.
And
to
that was like his big first role, I guess, after Lord of the Rings, right? I mean,
I think so. I think yeah.
Yeah, I think that's that hits hard for a lot of people because he went from such a devoted character to, I mean, devoted in a different way, I suppose, but in a completely different direction.
And I really liked the stuff that he did in Stranger Things.
I was going to say, he's a Stranger Thing, too.
Yeah, I really like him. Bob. In Stranger
Bob,
Things.
yeah. He's really good in that. By the way,
he's just like a dad. He's just like, not like, he's just cool in that show, too.
the movie I'm thinking of is called The Willies from 1990. Has anyone ever even heard of The Willies?
Never heard of the Willies, but I'm going
It's like
to
a
watch it.
direct-to-video movie from 1990. It is terrible. I highly recommend it.
There you go.
I love that a lot of times like recommendations are start with they are terrible.
Yeah,
but
It's
watch
terrible.
it.
You should watch it.
But you should watch it. Yeah.
All right, this one is big. Sam Raimi.
Hell yeah.
one of-
Dude.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite directors of all time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go last on this, and we'll go with Garrett first.
I really love Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I
Yeah,
agree.
I love that movie. I remember seeing that on the big screen and being like so impressed. And I was already a Raimi fan at the time.
Yeah.
Kind of getting excited that he was like coming back to that genre after
Yeah.
the Spider-Man movies
Yep.
and stuff. But I think that movie has actually that movie has aged really well. I rewatched it recently and it holds up. The ending is so freaking good in a way that I cannot imagine a movie ending like that movie today. I don't know
Yeah.
that anybody would let him make that movie the way he made it today. And I'm pretty sure, wasn't that movie PG-13? Can anybody remember? I think that movie managed
Yeah,
a PG-13
yes.
rating, and I don't know if it would manage that rating today.
No. I don't
It's
think
pretty
so.
gross.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that movie, which I will now not pick because you picked it, but
So I'm a sucker for the Hercules and Xena series.
Oh, yeah. Hell
Right.
yeah, dude. Good pick.
It's one of those things. It's a guilty pleasure at this point.
Yeah.
I love those series,
Right.
And that was my introduction to Bruce Campbell.
Right.
I didn't discover the Evil Dead franchise until 11th or 12th grade.
Right.
A friend of ours in high school was like, "These are great movies," and we had to, for our creative arts or short story project, we had to do something and pick a project to write about or something like that. And that was it. Like, that was what he and I chose. And I was like, I've never watched it. Watched him that weekend, fell in love. I've been a huge Bruce Campbell fan since, before then, but even bigger since then. And Sam Raimi was there, and then, Spider-Man got
Right.
me. But, God, what am I going to go with now? Because
Have you seen Darkman?
oh, you know what? Darkman is really great.
Darkman rules.
I'm going to go with Darkman. Evil Dead's the easy answer.
Yes.
And I think what they're doing, I haven't seen
And
the
good,
most
very
recent
good.
one, but I think the original 3, I think the Ash vs. Evil Dead, I think the 2013 or 2012?
I think.
The Evil Dead not reboot movie. I think that's really good, but Darkman is really
Darkman is
a
awesome.
neat kind of movie that came out of left field.
Yep.
Have people here seen Darkman? Yeah.
Oh, it's good. You
Darkman's
should watch. I
awesome.
saw
It's-
Sonic say no, but
It's Liam Neeson in 1990, so it's
Yeah.
before he's a real big star, and he's playing a universal monster / superhero.
Yeah.
He's like a guy that, it's great. It's really fun.
It is such a fun movie. Charlie Cox is next on my list.
Daredevil. That's all I got
That's
for you.
all I
That's
know
got
him
for
from
you.
is Daredevil too.
Right.
What's that? Oh, Daredevil. We got a yes there.
Right. So I was talking about it over here. I really, really, really loved him in Stardust. He did such a wonderful job in that movie.
Yeah, see, I always forget that he's in that.
Right. I mean, you know what it is? It's because he's a chameleon in that movie. Like,
Yeah.
he changes the way that he looks so many
That's right.
times. And I mean, at this point, he's become so synonymous with, Matt Murdock. Like, even
Yeah.
the way that he looks at people,
Oh,
it's based on being blind.
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah. Well,
it's hard to
remember when
picture him.
he lost out on? He said he's lost out on a bunch of stuff
Because he can't look at people in the face
He'd
anymore.
be just staring off doing his audition.
That is very strange to me. I don't know if I buy into that story
I
that he's
could totally
telling.
buy into it. Boardwalk
Is he on
Empire?
Boardwalk Empire?
Oh, you know what? I do remember. Yes.
I don't remember.
The Irish Hitman.
Oh,
Hitman,
yeah.
the Hitman in Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
There we go.
By the way, anyone that wants to jump in, if you have something to say, feel free to go to
You
Yeah,
can
we
use
got
that
that
microphone.
center
We'll
microphone.
talk to you.
Yeah, if you have a question, if you want to say this, you have a favorite project from someone we mentioned, feel free to jump up there. Before we move on,
Yeah.
Charlie Cox, Daredevil in the Daredevil series or in She-Hulk?
I haven't seen She-Hulk yet. That's where I'm
you
not caught
haven't
up
seen-
yet. Yeah.
That's such a fun series. Is there let me get a round of applause for Daredevil.
So,
What about She-Hulk? Okay, we got
some people who were loud about She-Hulk.
Yeah. I really like the direction he took that character in She-Hulk.
Right.
All I know is he has like the yellow and red costume,
yeah,
which I
that's
do
fun.
think is very
that's
cool.
neat. That's neat. Sticking with his Daredevil buddy, Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah. Who? I actually, that is the thing I think of him in now. By the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
actually in Hawkeye, I thought he was
Oh,
terrific
yeah.
as that character in Hawkeye.
Law and Order. Yeah.
Law and Order. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Men in Black.
Men in
That's
Black
the
with
other
Edgar
thing
suit.
that I always
that's
think
the one
of him
that
from.
sticks out to me most is the Edgar suit.
Sal. Oh, yes. The Jennifer Lopez movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tarsum Singh. God, that movie, I just saw that like 2 years ago for the first time. That movie is nuts. That is such a crazy movie. I love that director. He made that movie The Fall. You ever see that?
The Fall.
The Fall is terrific.
Sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
Which one's the fall?
Is that like with
Concept.
a tower or something?
No, The Fall is the one with the guy that played the pie maker on the show where if he touched people, they came back to life and then died again.
Lee Pace.
Lee Pace,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Lee Pace plays a guy that gets injured in a war and then starts like telling his
He's telling the stories. Yeah.
And it is this really visually inventive, beautiful movie
My-
where
my-
he kind of invents his own history for somebody.
I was trying to tell my wife to watch Fallen with Denzel Washington, and she
Oh.
was like, "That is completely different than the movie that I'm going to pitch to you now." So,
For me, I really like him in Jurassic World. Like, I know that
yeah.
movie's not necessarily the greatest. I think it's like a great reintroduction to that world. It's kind of like
this kid's having the same reaction I did. He said that to me earlier, and I was like, Vincent D'Onofrio
Yeah.
is in
Right,
that
right.
movie?
yeah, he's the bad guy. He's
yeah,
the,
I
he's
did
like
not-
right over top of Owen. Like he's his
he-
boss, sort of.
He's the
kind
guy
of.
that's like wants to make the dinosaurs be a weapon
Yeah, he wants
project
to
for the U.S.
militarize
government.
the Velociraptors.
And it's just like such a neat little role. He's a bad guy. You love to hate him in it. He's really, honestly, I think the standout performance in that movie.
right.
Which
You say that, and yet I forgot that he was in it.
Well, you know what it is.
Well, it's because you're too busy thinking of Chris Pratt
Yeah.
and trying to remember all the characters' names.
and his roles are always so polarizing and big, so
Yeah.
it's easy for him to kind of get lost in the scenery in that movie.
And
Yeah.
he also does like I didn't know it was him at first until I looked it up. Like he's also really good at like blending in.
He does have one of those unique faces where they can just put a different costume,
Yeah.
different bit of
Yep.
makeup on him, and you're not really sure who you're looking at.
Yep.
Garrett, what about you?
For D'Onofrio?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think for some reason what I think of is
Kingpin.
Kingpin now.
Yep.
That is
And
the
then,
thing.
Same question: Kingpin in Daredevil or Kingpin in Hawkeye?
That's a hard choice.
Yeah, what's weird is like I do think he really his performance in Daredevil is what made me love that show in
Right.
particular.
Yes.
But I really did like the slightly more insane take on him for Hawkeye.
Right, with
Which is
the-
weird to say because like he smashes a guy's head in with a door in
Right,
Daredevil.
yes, absolutely.
But there was like a cartoonish insanity to him in Hawkeye that I really
in his
liked.
Hawaiian shirt. And
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
That scene in Daredevil, I was like, I can't believe we're doing this in Marvel.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, it's a little sad that we're probably going to move away from that kind of violence with this
Right.
character.
Yeah.
But
They can still do it. They just have to be creative about it to manage to nail it down the right way. I am interested.
They'll just
they
have
do
a
see
different
that-
character sarcastically say, "Remember when you smashed a guy's
Right.
head in a door?"
Very true.
Mike, what's your favorite?
I think when he's wearing the Edgar suit, I think that's absolutely hilarious.
Men in Black. Yeah, that's a good.
That is
one.
an incredible like physical comedy performance.
Right.
Yes, I mean that is like I forgot that was him until we mentioned it over there.
Right.
Because that's like, I mean, what, 25, 30 years ago at
Yeah,
this
it's been
point.
a while.
Christopher Lloyd, I think this is a big one.
Oh, these are going to be some deep
and like
cuts.
there's so much you can pull from with him. Mike, let's start with you.
All right. So, does anybody remember the Dennis the Menace movie?
Yes.
Is he in
okay,
that?
my
He's
friends
the
and I
villain.
love him in that movie.
Yep,
Yeah.
he is absolutely the villain. He's the one that goes up to the kid eating the apple. What you got there,
What you
sport?
got there?
He's like the homeless guy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
My
Yes.
friends and I quote that all the time. What you got there, sport?
Apple.
Apple.
Garrett, what about you?
I mean, it's probably the Back to the Future movies, but I also really love his performance as Judge Doom in
Oh,
Who
yeah.
Framed Roger
Oh,
Rabbit, which
yeah.
I do weirdly think as I was talking downstairs with Mike's brother, it's so overshadowed by Doc Brown. People forget that
Yeah.
he is another like hugely iconic character.
I remember when I saw Roger Rabbit, I was like, "Is that Doc Brown?" And I saw this. It was like a child. Like I was in my
Yeah.
late single digits or whatever. I don't know, what do you call that? I was 10. I was almost 10.
My late singles.
And I was like, "Is that Doc Brown?" And that is an iconic performance. And
Yeah.
one, I wasn't going to pick that one. I feel like I should now.
No, his cartoon eyeballs are like one of the
Oh.
scariest
Daggers?
things I
Yeah.
remember seeing as a kid.
Yes, and like that whole cast is great.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
There was some Roger Rabbit games too that I'm sure nobody knows about.
I know about it. I never played it.
Yeah, there
Never.
was one on the NES that played completely different than the one that was on the Amiga, where like at the end of the game you were in the Acme warehouse and you had to make the weasels die laughing. So like you were using props on yourself, like
That's funny.
exploding cigars and
That's funny.
curveballs that would come back and hit you.
Yeah, it is a good Bob Hoskins movie though too.
Yeah,
I think that's who
yeah.
you're trying to think of. Yeah.
Yes, that's the name I was looking for.
Yeah.
And yeah, what a great movie overall with those two. Taxi. I really like
Oh man,
him in Taxi.
he's awesome in Taxi.
And it is such a I grew up on Nick at Night back when Nick at Night wasn't 90s. And I was watching like Mary Tyler Moore, Dick Van Dyke,
Yeah.
and Taxi was one of those shows. And forever in my brain will be ingrained the what does yellow light mean?
Yeah, what
And
does
that-
the yellow light mean? Slow down.
What
does
does
the
the
yellow
yellow
light
light
mean?
mean?
Yeah.
And that will forever be ingrained in my memory as a Christopher
great
Lloyd
bit.
moment. This one's interesting. Steve Burns
From Blue's Clues.
from Blue's Clues.
I was like, who the hell
to
is
which
that?
one of the people running our desk was like, his album. I'm like, wait, he has an album?
Yeah, it's like a it's strangely it's a blues album, right? Or is it rock?
I think it's like a rock album, he said, or something. Yeah, it's a rock
Well,
album.
I'm going to say it's blues based on his history.
But I don't know him from anything else besides Blue's Clues.
How
so
cool of him to come back for
He did come back.
That was
and not
cute.
only that, but to like, warm all our hearts in that message.
That was a cool message. Yeah. But I mean, I guess Blue's cool.
That's all I got. I don't know him from anything else.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
Giancarlo Esposito, yes. Rules.
Breaking Bad, we
absolutely.
heard.
Gus
We heard.
Fring, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Los Pollos brothers, is that what that's called?
Yeah, Los Pollos
Los
Hermanos.
Los Pollos Hermanos, yes, of course, yeah.
He's in Once Upon a Time, as Mike reminded me.
Yep.
Calling him Mr. Glass, and I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah,
Unbreakable.
when you said Mr. Glass, I was like,
Right. You guys thought I was
yeah.
talking about M. Night Shyamalan
Yeah.
now. Yeah, Sidney Glass. So he was in the latest Far Cry game, and he does a
Oh, right.
menacingly good job in that.
That he's like one of the like 12 actors now that has like actually been in a video game like basically as himself, right?
Right,
like
right.
He's
And does a
it's like his
phenomenal
appearance
job.
and everything.
Yeah.
yeah.
Plays crazy very well.
Yeah.
I think really, I really love him in The Mandalorian.
Right,
Oh
he does a
no,
very good
I'm taking
job
that back. Boys. The Boys.
Yeah,
He's on The Boys.
Yeah.
He's like the president of whatever
Of-
corporation.
Vaults? Is that what it's
Vault.
called? Vault. Yeah.
Vault Technologies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? Godfather of Harlem.
I've
we
never
heard?
seen that.
Neither have I. Neither have I.
Oh, I see. That's a recent movie. Oh, it's a show. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, I'll need to check that out. I love TV show.
Oh, okay, all right,
Oh man,
all right.
I feel like we need to be watching this show now.
Yeah.
Yep. There's I was just looking over Garrett's shoulder, and I saw Kaleidoscope. That was the TV show that just came out on Netflix. It's supposed to be really cool
I've
because you
heard
can
it,
watch it in any order. Like
Oh,
everybody gets to
interesting.
watch it like in their own.
He does like a lot of voice work on TV for cartoons and stuff. He had a small role in Okja, which is a movie I really like. I don't know if people here have seen Okja.
That's the one with the elephant.
Yeah,
or-
so Okja is a movie by Bong Joon-ho, who recently won an Academy Award for Parasite.
Yep.
And Okja is like about a little girl who gets this like genetically engineered like hippo pig hybrid,
Right.
And goes on this like odyssey with it. It's like almost like E.T. You know, it's got like a Spielbergian kind of vibe
Yeah,
to it, but
it's got
then
that childlike magic.
yeah,
kind
but then it goes fully into like very traumatic horror movie territory by the end, and is just really good and interesting.
Is Steve Ewan in that?
Yes, Steve Ewan's in it. Jake Gyllenhaal plays an insane character
Right.
in it.
That's the
He's
other
like a
person.
children's TV show host and doing a crazy performance.
I need to see this movie.
It's really fun. It's really weird.
That's amazing. I know I gave my answer. Did I give my answer?
Did you give your answer? Oh yeah, you said you liked him in Mandalorian.
You
Yep,
said The
that's
Boys.
it.
You
Yeah,
said
The Boys.
Mandalorian,
I
and then
changed
you
it
said
to The Boys.
Yep.
What are you going with, Garrett?
I just picked Okja.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike.
I said Far Cry.
Did you?
I did.
How did I miss all of that?
We had a long conversation about
I know.
Giancarlo afterwards.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Katie Sackhoff, who is great in The Mandalorian
Yeah.
and great in Clone Wars, and I believe she was also in Rebels. Maybe.
I think so.
Definitely-
Yeah, I think she voiced that character in
Yeah,
Rebels too. I mean, I know and love her from Battlestar
Right.
Galactica.
Yeah, I never got into that.
It's
so,
terrific. It's really worth watching.
yeah, I need to. I need to.
Yeah,
hop on.
and without spoiling yourself as best you can, from my understanding.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my introduction to Katie Sackhoff is The Mandalorian because I haven't gone all the way
Oh.
through Clone Wars or anything.
Interesting.
Yeah, for me, it's the Clone Wars. Like, I think she's great in the Mandalorian, but I really love like the lore that the Clone Wars brought to Star Wars, and she was like a huge part of that.
Yeah.
And like I really love like if you've watched the behind the scenes stuff for the Mandalorian and stuff, like how one day they were doing the voiceover stuff, and Dave Filoni was like, "One day you're going to be live action in this," and she's like, "Get out of here!" And then it happened, and like it was just a really sweet story. Bonnie Wright is the next on my list.
I only know her from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So do we pick which Harry Potter was our favorite?
Who is she? Ginny Weasley?
Yeah, she's Ginny Weasley.
Ginny Weasley, yeah.
I couldn't remember their name.
Weasley,
Yeah.
Wesley, Weasley. I don't know.
Weasley,
I
yeah.
guess the third one. I don't know. I kind of fell off from Harry Potter. I'm not a big fan anymore.
All these people who are over here, like hearing us, like, yeah, I haven't really seen them in this thing.
She was in a movie called My Dad is Scrooge.
That can't be good.
It exists.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Harry Potter 3 because that's just like the first adult Harry Potter movie.
That's
I do
where
really
it
like
turned
that one.
the corner for you.
Yeah, like the first two are like very much when the kids are kids too. Like they're super young, and the movies and the books age up with those kids, and that's the first one that really feels like it has stakes and adult themes and stuff like that. So Prisoner of something another.
Azkaban.
Prisoner
There
of
you go.
Azkaban, that's the third one?
Yes.
That
What's
is the
Order of
third
Phoenix?
one.
Is that
The
fourth or
fifth
fifth?
one.
That's the
And
fifth
I
one.
don't know
That's
why
when,
I know
uh,
this much about Harry Potter.
That's when Twilight died.
That's why it's my favorite.
No, that's the fourth one. I
he-
think you guys are all wrong. Isn't that the fourth one?
I was going to say.
Oh, I don't know. Does anyone know when Twilight dies in Harry Potter? Four?
So
Four?
Goblet of Fire.
Okay. My bad. Listen, I don't do witchcraft. I don't know.
He died as Cedric Diggory so he could fly as Batman.
Yeah.
I never got my letter to Hogwarts. Tom Welling.
Again, I know him as Superman.
Yeah.
Mike?
I actually really liked him in Lucifer. So he
I've
was
heard
recently
good
in
things
Lucifer.
about him in Lucifer.
Really
good
good.
That's a
things.
TV show, right?
Yeah, it's a TV show. I don't really want to spoil who he is because he's more than just what he first appears. So
Okay.
very, very good role.
Huh.
I watched The Mist, but I don't know that that's really.
Wait, the TV show The Mist? The TV adaptation?
No,
of
the
it?
reboot. Wasn't it like a reboot movie?
The movie? The
Yeah.
Mist? He's in that?
Yeah, the reboot.
Yeah,
I guess.
him and the
It's
girl
Shannon
from Lost,
from
right?
Lost, right?
Yeah. But that's not really my pick. I just wanted to mention that I knew he was in something else besides Smallville. But I'm not going to even pick the Smallville incarnation. I'm going to pick the Arrowverse fun
There
for
you
the
go.
crossover because I really liked
I figured this out. You guys were talking about the remake of The
the
Fog.
fog, not the Mist.
couldn't figure that
but
out.
there is Mist-like quality to that movie.
Understood.
There's a mist-like quality.
That's how I
fog.
figured this out.
Sometimes people call it miasma.
But like, all right, that's my bad. I knew he was in something. I just didn't know the name of it. But I think I really like his version of Clark in the crossover on Crisis and on Infinite Earths. Like, it was really a bold move. Spoilers for this crossover from years ago to take his powers away from him. I think that was a really bold move. He's just living a normal life. John Cryer's Lex Luthor is like so angry that he's like so selfless to get rid of those powers. He calls him selfish.
Did you just say John Crier's
Yes,
Lex Luthor?
As
I
Lex Luthor,
did.
yeah.
John Cryer plays Lex Luthor?
And very well, too.
Okay, all
Is
right.
Next to Michael Rosenbaum, my favorite Lex Luthor.
Okay.
You didn't like Kevin Spacey?
I can only believe you.
I don't know who that is. No, John Cryer does, and it's like a bearded Lex Luthor. It's like a really like,
Everything you're saying sounds insane to me.
I thought the same thing, and then he spoke.
Garrett
And
thinks
it
that he
was
got a
great.
concussion up here somehow.
Same boat is Kristen Cruick, Lana Lang from Smallville.
Oh, okay.
I've only ever seen her in Beauty and the Beast on the CW.
I got one for you.
But-
If I'm right, if I'm wrong, then I
Oh
apologize.
no!
Euro Trip.
Yep, Euro
Yeah,
Trip.
absolutely.
Yep.
Wait, she's in Euro.
She's Scotty's girlfriend.
Scotty doesn't know.
Oh.
That's really good. I'm going to stick with Smallville though. But
Right. Well, that is the role that
So
put her on the
she's
map.
what
and
Scotty
everything.
didn't know about. Well,
Exactly.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Scotty didn't know that.
Scotty didn't know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Michael Rosenbaum, who is my favorite Lex Luthor of all time.
Yeah, that guy I know is Lex Luthor. I can picture him as Lex Luthor. He makes sense to me as Lex Luthor. Never say John Cryer to me again.
I think he's just a really funny dude. Like, I'm picking Sorority Boys.
I was going to say Sorority Boys, but if I can't pick Sorority Boys,
Yeah,
then
take
I'll
it.
pick the character that he played in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, that was good.
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
But Sorority Boys is just a really. I haven't watched it in a while.
It's been
it might
a while.
be problematic now. I'm not
Probably.
sure, but it's a really.
I don't even know what you
funny
guys are
movie.
talking about.
Yeah, it's an early movie of
At
his.
some point halfway through this, we just started making things
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. That should have been the side gimmick that you and I had. Just
Right.
make up movies. It was a really funny movie at the time, at least. It might be problematic now. I don't know if anyone has watched Sorority Boys recently, but
I don't know that anybody else has heard of it, except for you two.
what about? I think I heard someone say, "Yeah, is it problematic now in 2023?" You've never rewatched it? It's not high on your list to rewatch?
My wife, it's like a rewatch for her.
Is
so,
it?
so if it's problematic, I guess so is Rihanna.
What's your favorite Rosenbaum?
I have no idea. I think I only know him as
As
Lex
Lex?
Luthor. Yeah.
All right, Henry Winkler.
Hell yeah, dude. I love Henry Winkler. I love him in Scream.
I was
Yes,
thinking
that's
Scream
the one I was
too.
gonna pick.
I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, it's not like a great Henry Winkler movie. It's not like he has a ton to do, but he has
No, but he has a great
self-referential-
performance.
and he has that incredibly strange scene where, like, for a second, they want us to think that he might be the killer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Right.
about? He's like in his
Yes.
own office, looking at himself in the mirror. It is so strange and funny. They're like. The fact that he's just in a bit role in that movie, but is like doing business,
Right,
is
well,
so funny to me.
Because at that point, he really is the most famous person, and
Right.
you do typically make like if you're ever watching a CSI, a Law and Order, like it's your most famous person
Yeah.
as your killer.
Yes.
So
Which makes sense, especially when like that movie came out as like, oh, we're redefining what the slasher movie is. Like, we're gonna tease that it's this guy, and then
Right.
then they really screw with you.
right, absolutely.
Yeah, Scream and like the Happy Days are like the two things I really know him from.
The
Well,
Happy Days.
I also,
The
of
Happy
course,
Days.
remember him from Disney's So Weird, right?
I've never seen.
I believe he was the producer of that show, and then also was on it. I think. Right?
What is
Yeah.
so weird?
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, the main character, her mom is like a traveling musician, and she's on the tour bus going from town to town across America, discovering X-Files style, like, weird stuff happening in the towns that she's in. Right? Yeah.
Now I feel like you guys had a side bet saying let's screw with Mike and Kev. That sounds great though.
It's a real Disney Channel show from my childhood.
I wonder if that's on Disney Plus because I'll watch that
Probably.
right now. Child's X-File? I'll watch that.
Basically what it is, yeah.
That reminds me of Erie, Indiana.
Yeah, right, yes.
Oh yeah, I remember that show.
Totally forgot about that until you said it.
Mike, favorite?
So, I mean, I would have chosen Scream.
Yeah.
I feel like, you have to highlight Barry. He's
Oh,
really, really fantastic
sure.
at Barry.
Shit.
Yeah.
I hate that. Damn it.
Right.
I wish I wasn't so blanket on things like that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Barry is the right choice, not
Right.
Happy Days.
Right.
But Happy Days would be, I guess, the third place one for me.
Right. I mean, he is the Fonz. He's an
He's the
immortalized
Fonz.
character.
And I love that he's the Fonz.
Yeah.
I love him. Rose McIver. Once upon a time was
So she's on Ghost
iZombie.
right now.
iZombie.
Ghost is fantastic.
What is Ghosts?
So Ghost is a Americanized version of a
You like
show from
I
BBC.
give you a lot of heads up for Ghost.
It is phenomenal. It is so like in the age that we're in right now, where like everything is so heartwarming. Like you got your Ted
Yeah.
Lasso's, your Schitt's Creek, things like that. It is a very like upbeat show about a couple that moves into a mansion that's haunted by ghosts. No one would know because typically people don't know about that. But she ends up hurting herself and can now see the ghosts that live in their house. They just wrapped up their second season. Big twist at the end that we're trying to find out like what happens at the beginning of season 3. But yeah, she's wonderful in that.
She was also Tinkerbell in Once Upon a Time.
Yep.
And obviously live in iZombie, which is I love iZombie. Like I started binging that and I fell for that show hard. I think I saw a thumbs up for iZombie out there. Great show.
She shares that show with what's his face,
Raul
from,
Khali.
Yeah, from Once as well, right?
Was he in Once?
Whoever, Holm Anders, is that what it is?
Oh no!
Anders
But
Holm?
Dave Andrews was Dr. Frankenstein.
Was it Tom Anders? I knew I was halfway
Yeah.
there. Right,
But
right.
he's yes. But no, you're right. I forgot about that. He's all right in that show. I prefer Rose McIver and Raul Khali.
Yeah.
They're my two favorites from that show. You get it, Peck.
I do not know this person. I have not seen a single thing they've ever been in.
Did you pick one? Ghost.
Yeah.
I don't know who Chaz Palman.
Come on, man. The
I know.
Usual Suspects?
Maybe as a kid I watched it.
Oh, man. Chaz Palminteri
Yeah,
rocks.
he's in like a lot of
He's in
the mafia.
Yes, he's in every movie that's ever featured the mob or mafia.
Right.
I don't watch a lot of mob movies.
There's one that's like on the tip of my brain and I can't pick what it is. So like give me some time to try and like ruminate in my skull right now. Because he plays some funny roles too.
What was that? Bronx Tale?
Bronx Tale, yeah.
I only know that because it's on Fan Expo's website, though. That's the only reason I know.
Yeah.
Modern Family? I didn't really.
Yeah. He's Jay's business partner or whatever, right? And it turns out he's gay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the role that I was thinking of. That's the one that popped out in my brain. Very funny in that. Because he goes from being so closeted to so out
Godfather
within
Harlem
like.
as well. Another thing I haven't seen. Need to. That's been said twice now, so I need to watch it.
You got to go to like his 80s and 90s. That's
Right.
when he was like really doing a ton of stuff. Yeah, he's in Oscar with Sylvester Stallone, Bronx Tale, Bullets Over Broadway.
This is where you guys lose me.
Oh, he's in Jade, which is and Diabolique. Yeah, he's in some like really good erotic thrillers from the 90s. Oh, he's in A Night at the Roxbury. That is the thing that
What?
I
That's the
remember
thing that
him
you
from the
choose.
most. That is absolutely the thing that I remember him from the most.
That's amazing. Because all the movies you named are total opposite of that movie.
Yep.
We're going to lump these two together just to like save on some time here. Stephen Amell and Emily Bett Rickards, who played Oliver Queen in Arrow and Felicity in Arrow. I don't know her from anything else, so Arrow for me, for her.
Right.
Or I could go The Flash because she did have a guest role in The Flash too. But Stephen Amell, I really, really liked in Code 9.
Is Code 9 the one that he's in with his brother?
Cousin. Yeah, him and Robbie Amell are in that. They're doing a sequel, I believe,
Right.
and they're doing a TV series.
I caught like an hour of that while I was waiting in a doctor's office.
It's
and it was really, really good.
It's a really cool concept of like these superpowered beings that it's just illegal to have superpowers. So it's and like So like Robbie Amell has to go to like Home Depot and go in the back of a truck to get work because like he's an illegal citizen.
Okay.
It's really interesting.
Huh.
I think it's on. Is it still on Netflix?
What's it called?
Code 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are doing a
Code
sequel.
8. Code 8. Code 8.
Well,
Code
maybe
9
maybe
is the
Code 9
sequel.
is the sequel that we're already preparing for. I mean, I'm surprised that you didn't mention any of his times on, what was it, WWE?
Oh well, yeah. He hosts the TV shows on Stars, and another podcast was talking about this yesterday, or maybe on Friday, I forget. I don't have Stars, so I don't watch it. I'm sure it's great. He's a beast. Like he
Right.
posts a lot of videos of him getting ready for this show, and it's he's a beast. He's a beast.
Right.
These are people I don't know either.
But I think we're like almost out of time. So, do you gotta go through the list and pick someone as like?
Yeah,
your
I just
final
want to talk
person?
about Peter Weller because
Okay.
Peter Weller's here, and I love Peter Weller, and he's in this great movie from the '80s called Shakedown. Has anybody seen Shakedown?
It sounds familiar.
It
So
sounds
it's,
familiar.
It's Peter Weller and Sam Elliott, and Peter Weller is like maybe like a DA, and he's like got this case. He gives this really powerful speech halfway through the movie to win this case, and it's all about like these people that have been accused of a violent act that he does not believe they committed. He gives this very powerful speech against violence and against stereotyping people as violent people for any reason. And then as soon as he finishes that powerful speech against violence and accusing people of violence
Goes-
just because
commits-
of how they look, him and Sam Elliott get into a helicopter and kill a bunch of people.
Very well.
It's an incredible movie. I love Shakedown.
I want to throw a special shout out to Dante Basco.
Oh, that's what I was
right?
gonna do. Yeah,
Right. Because so obviously we know him as Rufio, but he also does the voice of Zuko in
Oh,
in
yes,
Avatar.
he's Zuko in Avatar. I
Yep.
totally forgot about that.
Yep.
Did
Fantastic.
you know he was trying to get a sequel called Rufio made?
Awesome.
I'm for it. Let's kickstart
think-
it, Dante.
I don't know if he was trying to kickstart it or what, but there was like a lot of. I don't know. This is years ago. I read about it. 100% for it.
Yep.
Show me like a grown up Rufio.
I feel like he was also in Entourage. I think like he was like a shoe
Can I
artist
tell
or
you guys a
something.
fact that I learned about the movie Hook recently that I did not know before? So you know, forgive me for saying it this way, but like the larger child who does the cannonball roll.
Yeah.
Do you guys know that character's name in the movie Hook?
It's Tom
I believe it's Thud Butt.
Thudbutt.
When I looked it up recently, it was listed as Thud Butt.
Thud, but what a credit to have. I would be proud of that credit.
And
Maybe it's only
lovely
Thud. I don't know
trivia
what.
to
Maybe the
know.
butt part is something I made up. I don't know. Might be.
The final one I want to shout out is Danielle Panabaker, and not because of The Flash, even though she's wonderful in The Flash. Huge fan of Sky High. I went to go
Oh.
see Sky High because of Bruce Campbell. Literally the
He's
only
in that
reason.
movie?
He's the gym teacher.
And isn't Kurt Russell in that movie?
He is.
Right?
He's the dad.
Yeah, okay.
And the kid who ended up being in Red State
Yes.
is in that movie.
Wait, which one is it? Is it Kyle Gallner or
No.
can't think
God.
of his name. I can't think of his name. I'm
The kid
I'm
in
never gonna get
Red
it.
State and Sky High.
I'm-
He's the main kid. He's
Oh, Michael Angarano.
yeah. And he I've always seen him in those two things, and
Yeah.
what a like difference in character. But it's great. It's really great, and I really love like. I don't necessarily love Sky High because of Panabaker, but I thought she was wonderful in that movie as like just a sweet little kid in that teenager, I guess. I don't know in that movie. I don't think there's anyone going on after us. No, so there's no one to plug, but I want to thank Fan Expo Philly. I want to thank Garrett and Mike for being on stage with me. I want to thank Chuck and I didn't catch your name, Shauna, for helping run everything here. What a great thing that Fan Expo does here for the Creator Stage. What a wonderful time. If you want to talk more about stuff, I think most of us are going to be at that booth for a little bit. I'll be there till 5. The Philadelphia Podcasting Society and Creative Arts Alliance. You can come say hi. You can find me on Twitter at ThatNerdyKev. This is Everything is Awesome. You can find it on podcatchers everywhere. Garrett, give them your plugs one more time.
You can find my podcast, Killer Bees Podcast. We talk about B-movie actors, and you can check me out on MovieJohn.com.
Mike?
You can find my shared fantasy universe on www.tellus.com, or you can find everything that we do, www.tellus.com/brochure.
It's weird to hear people say www.
Right.
I feel like that's not a thing anymore, right? Like you can just say tellus.com.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
That's how you know we're middle aged.
Yep. I'm almost of beekeeping age.
You are the first
You
of us
keep
to go
saying
40.
that, and I do not know what it means.
You're not of beekeeping age yet, so you don't know.
When you turn 40, you'll get it. Thank
It's
you
Rick and
all for
Morty.
coming here. Have a nice rest of Fan Expo Philly. I hope you guys were able to rest. I know that's why you were here.
Yeah, thanks for
Just
hanging
to
out with
rest.
us.
And this is not a Lego podcast, so I'm sorry if you were expecting Lego talk. Have a good one. Oh yeah, baby. Sorry, I got during this process of taking my mental health break, I picked up a few new toys like the Zoom PodTrack 4, 8, something like that. And it is a wonderful little toy that has a built-in soundboard. I haven't really played with it much until right now. So I apologize, but that was just so much fun to do. Yeah. So thank you all for listening to this week's episode. Thank you to Mike for co-hosting Everything is Awesome Live with me. It's always a fun time to connect with him for something creative like this, and have a purpose to shoot the shit. We shoot the shit almost daily anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it's nice to record our conversations as well. And Garrett's always willing to jump and hop onto anything I'm doing, whether it's Everything is Awesome, whether it's recording a tabletop role-playing game for a podcast, whether it's to jump in as a co-host when Mike can't make it. Garrett is such a wonderful human being. Links to where you can find them and their work are going to be in the show notes, of course. It's very important that you guys, have your own voices heard. And if you're not doing a podcast to do that, there are other ways for you to do that. And that includes calling your representatives for issues that matter to you. We're living in this wild time right now where even though the president that kind of made things horrendous for all of us is no longer in office, but things that he did, people he put into power, are still affecting our day-to-day rights to live. If there's something going on, and really this goes for whatever side of the political spectrum you find yourself on, the only way you're going to be able to have your voice heard is by making it heard. And 5calls.org is such a great place to do that. There are a bunch of issues that you can go and find that affect you and your day-to-day life, that require you calling your local representatives, whether that is, your House of Representatives there in your district, or whether that's your state senators, or all the above. Doing that, having your voice heard, calling those representatives is the best way because they know you mean business when you call. And having your voice heard is the best way to ensure that you're helping change your community. Something that you'll hear on an episode in the future of Walking with Writers is when Dan Scully and I talked briefly about this, that government is not a trickle-down effect. The things that happen high up in government rarely affect our day-to-day lives. We need to have a build-up effect with government, and that's really what happens when you are active in your local government, when you're active with your representatives for your town, your state, whatever it might be. That stuff produces change that eventually trickles up. I guess not trickles up, it builds up. So please, please, please find something you're passionate about. Once we're back into the swing of these things, I'll have issues to highlight, but go to 5calls.org, talk to your representatives about these issues that matter to you, and let them know that you are not happy with how things are being done, with how people in our communities are being treated, and with our safety of our school children, safety of everyone across the board is at risk here, whether it be actual safety, in schools with kids, whether it be medical safety with women and the right for abortion. All that stuff has been taken away and continues to be taken away. So please, please, please go there. That's all I have for you this week. Make sure you follow us on social media. Where are we? Awesomepodcast.com for one. At Real Awesome Pod on Twitter. We're going to be creating a Hive account real soon because, God, Twitter is going to be a dumpster fire real soon, huh? We are on Instagram at Awesome Podcast, I believe. We're also on Facebook, but honestly, we don't use that too often. The best place if you want to chat with me, reach out to me, is at That Nerdy Kev on most social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, and Hive. Hive is like my new place, so come follow me on the Hive, baby. Let's do it. Hive Social is a wonderful replacement for Twitter. I hope it succeeds. So follow me there at That Nerdy Kev, or most social networking apps. You can find me there. Until next time, super friends, stay awesome.